Are you sick of there being dirt in your backyard that is not tilled? Well, today do I have the solution for you.
Not only does it look nicer, chickens will love eating the worms in the garden and they will automatically fertilize it.
Hi there, today I'm going to be attempting iron hoe in my backyard for the first time. So all I've got here is a barrel to start out with. I've got a nice old honey drum. This used to be a honey barrel, so it was full of honey. I chopped the top off of it, I chopped the hole over the side, filled it with sticks, and then I set it on fire. My preferred method of igniting said fire is just a little bit of mineral terps or some methylated spirits or kerosene or a mixture of all of them. But we just got it going after a while. It was getting pretty hot. All these little coals kept leaking out and attempting to commit arson on my back lawn. And as a result, I put them in timeout inside this little iron bar. Then it sort of started to die down because it didn't get hot enough. So, solution, just dump some more mineral terps on. So first step, I'm going to be trying to make something with a piece of old iron rebar that I've got lying around. But I need it to be hot enough in order for me to be able to actually beat it into shape. So the first step was really just getting it to heat up hot enough. It took a little while, had to burn a few things down, just used some sticks I had lying around, just went and raided this big pile of sticks that I have in my backyard. Makes great fuel. I would not recommend putting grass or even dry grass into the barrel too much, because what's going to happen is it just ends up suffocating the fire and eventually you get left with a bunch of charcoal that doesn't really want to burn very hot. I made this mistake here and it just went out for like a good period of time. And it took a while to get it back up to heat there. If you don't have a proper way of getting air into the fire, you can always just wrap a wet towel around some sticks like I was doing here. This is what I was using. It doesn't look like it's doing much, but it does actually make quite a bit of a difference. You see a little burst of flame every now and then. Goes up and down. And it's pretty good. I would definitely say that a hairdryer or a leaf blower would be way better. Here I just managed to find an old sort of piece of metal that was lying around that you could use as an anvil. The first time I went to hit it with just a little sledge here, didn't really do anything. Definitely wasn't hot enough, and what I'm doing right here is basically nothing. It's not red hot, it's just sort of slightly warm. So I don't know, maybe it's slightly more pliable, but it really just didn't make a difference. I'm just going to speed this bit up here because it's pretty boring just watching me hit a piece of cold metal over and over again that's not really hot enough. So I decided that I needed to stock the fire up with a bit more fuel, give it some juice so it can keep going. So I went over here and just dug through this massive pile of grass until I found some sticks that were adequate for the job. I just bundled them up and carried them back over to my little makeshift forge that I've got going over here. And in the hopes of getting it up hot enough. I did eventually get it pretty hot. As you can see here, it's starting to really heat up. You have to really pick the right time. During the evening, I think, this is like late afternoon, I think, when the wind starts to pick up. If you can get the wind to pick up and just sort of have it naturally funnel in through the little hole in the side, then you're going to get way hotter fire way faster. At the very beginning, there wasn't much wind, so it was just sort of stagnating, not really doing all that much. As you can see now, it's starting to pick up. There's a lot more fire coming over the top here. I just continue to load it up. Looks very nice and toasty. Will definitely burn your marshmallows. By this time, I had actually gotten the metal hot enough to properly start molding it a little bit. As you can see, it's flattening the end here a little bit more. But used up a lot of fuel. I did manage to get rid of a whole bunch of sticks that were taking up space in my backyard. So this is a great use for unwanted sticks that you might have lying around. Managed to get it keep going. Made a lot of smoke. When you put grass on this thing as well, ridiculous amount of smoke. But I started out by just making a basic duck foot. I like to call it a duck foot because you're basically just making a flat thing that usually ends up curving up in the thing. Very satisfying to hit the side of the barrel with a a nice blast of cold water. Just got to keep forging away here. I'll speed up a bit of this as well again. Always make sure to wet your hands before taking the rebar out of the furnace, otherwise you might just burn yourself pretty bad. I did that a couple of times. So I used this old bird bath to cool my hands down and also to cool the metal down. I didn't heat the fire hot enough to properly quench it and harden it, so I don't want to harden it straight away and then it be too hard to change later. So then I went into the garage. I always make sure to put on your grinding helmet. I've seen so many videos where people nearly die from grinding discs flying apart. Or cutting discs are probably worse, but grinding discs can still fly apart. Then it was time to sharpen it up, get it nice and sharp so that we can use it as a tool. So I'm just going to cheat and use the grinder. I might use a sharpening stone at the end though.
Anyway, this is pretty satisfying to use. Gave it a little test here after sharpening it up on the sharpening stone. I'll just let you watch a little bit of me hitting dirt with it because it's somehow oddly satisfying. And that's pretty much the conclusion. That's it. That's me iron hoe made in the backyard with a barrel and some sticks. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. Goodbye. And they said I couldn't get a hoe.